Hey guys, it's Pierre here again, and today we're actually going to look at a way to deal with unbelief. Exactly the way Jesus did it, that's the same way we're supposed to do it. So in Mark chapter 5, just as in the prior episode, I spoke about Mark chapter 6, but it's funny how at the end of Mark chapter 5, Jesus just dealt with unbelief. And so I want to go through this particular passage for you where Jairus, who's the leader of the synagogue, came to Jesus in the middle of that chapter, and he asked Jesus to come to his house because his little girl is at home and she's 12 years old and she's literally, dying. She's sick. And he comes to Jesus asking him to come lay hands on her so that she can be healed. But along the way, after the woman with the issue of blood stopped Jesus, after withdrawing virtue from Jesus, the guys came from Jairus' house, the servants, and they're like, Jairus, leave the master alone because your daughter now is dead. So Jesus immediately turned to Jairus and says, only believe. And now in verse 37, let's walk through it. He went on and he took with him who? Peter, James, and John, the same ones that were with him in the Mount of Transfiguration a few chapters later in chapter 9. So now what we're looking at is he gets into that house, and literally when he walks in, he sees all the commotion that's going on, and he tells them the little girl is not dead, but she's sleeping. And this is in 5:39. So they start laughing at him, and he literally did the next best thing. And I want you to look at it in Mark 5, verse 40. And he put everyone out, except, of course, the girl's father and mother and his 3 disciples that he brought with him. So I want you to see, once he did that, then he called the girl back from the dead by saying, Talitha cum, which basically meant, little girl, I say to you, get up. So Jesus is very specific. If we study him, we will see how he dealt with unbelief. And as such, we also can deal with unbelief. So I'm absolutely telling you, you're going to come across situations where unbelief is going to slap you right smack dab in the face. And it's going to be up to you to recognize one way to remove unbelief is to remove the people from the environment that do not believe. Maybe you've gone into a place to pray for somebody and there's a bunch of people around you like daring you, I dare you to do this. So again, look at the last episode. Jesus could not do many miracles because they were familiar with him, right? So in the same way, you're going to come across situations where because they're familiar with you, in your mind, you're going to let that intimidate you. And I'm telling you, do not let anything intimidate you, because intimidation will bring about unbelief. It will stop the flow of the anointing because it's not just your will in the situation, but also other people around you who, with their mindset, with their unbelief, can stop a miracle from literally happening. And here we see Jesus doing one of the 3 times he raised somebody from the dead in the New Testament. And so he managed to do this. So I'm telling you, do not let unbelief stop you. And sometimes you're just going to have to remove the people full of unbelief from around you and go to a private place and take care of business. So that's all I have for you. Let's go to the next one, because we're going to talk more about yet another example where intimidation got the best of Jesus' disciples. So follow with me on episode number 55, next one. Enjoy.